Good afternoon, students. Today we came to our plumbing class day 6. So, today we'll be studying about the water supply in buildings. Okay. So, we'll be studying about the storage of water tank, roof tanks. What are the different types of roof tanks? Then we'll be studying about the designing of it. Okay, we'll be studying about the designing of the overhead tank, underground tank. Okay, uh, the pump capacity. Just by the help of a solution by the help of a question, we can do this. Okay, we can do this, but we have know, Excel sheet also. But we'll be studying in coming classes. If we get time, we'll be taking it. Or let's see. Today we'll be studying about the water supply requirements of buildings. Okay? Water supply requirements of buildings. So why we need this storage of water, or why we have to store this water, okay, in our house. We have to, normally speaking, uh, why we store this water in our home, because there should not be any interruptions, okay, in the water supply. If you have a city water or a municipal water, okay, corporation water, if you are allowing, you have the corporation water in your house, uh, you know sometimes that won't be regular, okay, that won't be regular to your house. So in such case, there should not be any interruption in your water supply, because daily you need water, right? Daily we have water supply. We need water supply. So for you know uh, due to some irregular supply, we need some storage tanks, okay, for our usage in our home. So, what is the purpose of storage of water? Is that I will just dictate it. Water is stored in buildings due to the irregular supply of city water or municipal water. Water tanks are provided normally with, so what we have in a water tank or a overhead tank or whatever tank it might be, you will be having a float valve. You'll be having a float valve, you'll be having a drain valve to drain the water, and you have a discharge valve through which the water will be supplied to different fixtures. Then you will be having an overflow, you will be having an overflow and a vent pipe. So these are the main things that will come in a tank, overhead tank. Okay, we'll be having a vent and an overflow. So if it is beyond a particular level, if the water reaches beyond a particular level, if you have this vent with overflow, you will be able to know it. Okay, nowadays we have automation and all those things, high level, low level, you know, you know, buttons are there. So level switches are there. So we could know the level of it. So if it reaches to a particular level, it will cut off. Okay, if it comes to a particular level, it will cut it. So we have automation also, but still, normally what we provide is that there will be a float valve will be there. So float valve is another thing, is that what's the help of this float valve is that uh, when if you are supplying water into that particular tank, after a particular level, what happens? This float will be coming up and it will close the valve. Okay, so then we have drain valve. In future, if you want to drain unwanted water, you can drain it off by the help of drain valve. Then you have the discharge valve, okay, through which we can open the discharge valve so that the water can be discharged and it can be supplied to different fixtures. And we'll be having, as well as I have said, we'll be having an overflow as well as a vent pipe. Okay, so there are different, overhead tanks also. Normally, they will be having, this concrete tanks. They will be building these concrete tanks. Or normally, this PPR tanks will be there. Okay, this PPR or galvanized tanks will be there. We kept on the top. Okay, it has different capacity, 500, okay, 1000 liter, 1500, 5000 liters. Different tanks, PPR tanks will be there. Okay, so we can buy and we can keep it there. And the main thing is that the roof tank should be elevated, okay, enough above the roof level, okay, to have enough pressure to the upper apartments. Otherwise, booster pump is needed. This I have said yesterday itself. So, to get a sufficient pressure in your outlet, you have to raise the uh, overhead tank. If it is not, concrete tank, or concrete tank will be building there. Even though if it is a concrete tank, also you have to raise it. Okay, you have to keep that in a, 3 or 4, uh, beams or columns. Okay, on the top only you will be keeping the overhead tank so that you will be having a sufficient pressure because this water is coming by the help of gravity. Okay, so we need at least a 2 kg 0.2 kg pressure. So because of that, we have to raise it in such a level that at least we need some pressure. If it's come below that also, little bit also, it is not an issue, but still, 2 bar pressure is needed. So we have different materials of this roof tanks, as well as I said, PPR tanks are there, concrete tanks are there, galvanized tanks are there. Okay, different materials of tanks are being built. Okay, so it is if you are not raising the overhead tank, you won't get the sufficient pressure. Okay, in the sense, if it is a 2-story building, so if you are keeping the tank on the roof of the second floor, for the ground floor, you might be getting the proper pressure, but when you are coming to the uh, first floor, you won't get the sufficient pressure. Okay? You will be getting water in a pressure, but comes to some showers and all. Okay, it needs extra pressure. Okay, so what we have to do is that if you are trying to do it with gravity, obviously you have to increase the height. Or what you have to do is that you have to give a booster pump or a pressure pump. Okay, you have to give an appropriate pressure pump to the system, to the outlet of a discharge pipe. From there, you can give a proper pressure. So we can make sure that at the individual fixtures, proper pressure is being given in that place. Okay, so that we can set it also. We'll be having different capacity tank will be there for booster pump. Not only that, we can bring a VFT type, variable frequency drive type, booster pumps will be available, so that we can set the pressure. Below that pressure, it will cut in and it will make sure that a proper pressure is being given to each individual fixtures. Okay. uh, Basically, when we are dealing with a rain shower and all, the pressure requirement is more. Okay, pressure requirement is more. And so basically they might be giving the booster pumps. Okay. Now, when we are trying to design the overhead tank or underground tank, how much that we have to raise, how much we have to raise, I will just say, how much height we have to raise, I will say. So design of underground tank and overhead tank storage tank. The head required, okay, the head required to it is just at recommended values only, recommended height only. The head required to supply water directly to all water supply fittings is, if it is a single story, the height should be 7 meters from the ground level. It should be 7 meters. Okay. Uh, the head required to supply water directly to all water supply fittings. Story building, it is recommended that 7 meter height should be there. It's a double story G plus 1, which means ground floor plus 1, you should have 12-meter height. Okay, so that is the way that you will be elevating the height of the overhead tank. Now, coming to the underground tank, underground tank is a storage tank. Correct. There should not be any interruptions. For example, if something happens to your pump, okay, pump, you are trying to get the water from well and you are pumping to the overhead tank, and some maintenance happens to the pump, it is not working. So suddenly, it will interrupt our water supply. So we should be having a 2 to 3 days water storage. Okay. So underground reservoir or the underground tank usually 2 to 3 days storage, you know, uh, will be will be taken. 2 to 3 days storage in the sense, if, for example, the overhead tank we are designing and we got 1,000 1000 liter capacity. When we are trying to build an underground tank, it will be 3000 because 2 or 3 days. It can be 2000 or 3000. Okay, so that the water supply won't be interrupted, and we can make sure that we have sufficient amount of water, even though if water won't come in 1 or 2 days. Okay, still we will be having a capacity. And not only that, overhead tank can be 1 day storage as well as half-day storage. What do you mean by that? Half-day storage or 1 day storage? If you are calculating, know, and if we got 1000 liter as the capacity of the overhead tank, it's not necessary that you need to be 1000 liter tank. You can be 500 liter also. Now, getting 500 liter, you have to make sure that you have to pump 2 times. Okay? So otherwise, if you are trying to give for pumping 1 time in a day, we can place 1000 liter tank on the overhead. So if you are not trying to give that 1000 liter tank on the overhead or overhead tank, you are not interested in giving 1000 liters. You can do a half-day storage also. You can give 500 liters, and but in order to satisfy your demand of water, you have to pump 2 times. 2 times of 500 is 1000. Okay. By actual calculation, the overhead tank in a particular room, if it is 1000, you can give 1000 liter tank, or you can give 500 liter tank. If you are giving 1000 liter tank, you have to need only to pump 1 time in a day. If you are trying to give 500 liter tank, you have to pump, twice a day. That's the main difference. Okay, so if you want to give 1 day storage, you can give 1 day storage. If you want to give half-day storage, you can give half-day storage also. So just I will share some history and just I will help you to know some formulas. Okay. So this is what we were discussing. The head required to supply water directly to all water supply fittings. Okay, uh, you know, if it's a single-story building, it should be 7 meter height or 7 meter head, and that is story G plus 1 floor. It is 12 meter. So the underground reservoir should be 2 to 3 days storage. So if you are trying to design something, okay, if you need underground reservoir, you have to just multiply with 2 or 3 times of the overhead tank. Okay, and the head required should be 7 meter and 12 meter. If it is a single story door, then double story, if it is 12 meter. Then an elevator roof tank or storage system, we can say, or we can say overhead tank should be. It's not necessary that it should be half-day storage. If you want, you can give half-day storage. Okay, so that you can. If there is no big space usage in your overhead, you can just reduce that capacity. Okay, but if you need that, provided that you have to pump 2 times a day. Okay, that's why it is not half-day storage. Okay, and now there is a formula. This we know, we have studied from childhood itself only. The power. Okay, you have to find the power of the pump set. That is a pumping main. Pumping main means the water that you are pumping from an underground tank or a well or a borewell or a whatever source, from there to the overhead tank. That is known as pumping main. Okay, so in order to transfer the water from one place to another place, we need pump, right? So as we are doing these manual calculations, this is the formula that we know it. We have studied from the class level itself. So I will just give a brief explanation of this, and we can move forward. So power equal to work done by time taken. So work done, instead we can write force into distance. So force into distance by time taken. Okay, force you can write mass into acceleration. So mass into acceleration into distance divided by time taken. So mass into acceleration, 9.8 meter per second into total head. Okay, into total head divided by time taken, you can write 1 second into efficiency also. This is the formula. Okay, this is the formula for finding out the power. Okay, so you can use this formula 9.8 into, you can find out the mass, you can find out the total head. All these things are has to be find it out. So the mass will be in kilogram, 9.8 meter per second square into total head, it will be meter, and uh, seconds, that is seconds itself, time, efficiency is in percentage. So we'll be getting in watts. Okay, so when you do all these things, you'll be getting the power in watts. Now to convert into HP, you know that 1 HP is equal to 0.746 kilowatt. Okay, 1 HP is equal to 0.746 kilowatt. So we can do a problem after some time, then you can understand the thing. Now, the another one thing that you have to keep in mind is that the time taken, the time to fill the overhead time. So, so the time in the sense, if you have 1,000 liter of overhead time, how much time it requires, or what is your, how much time that overhead time to be filled or full. Okay, we can see how it is. This normally it is taken as 1/2 to 1/4 storage time of roof tank. It is half to 1/4 storage time. Okay, which means that for a half day storage, the filling time will be 1/4 of storage time. Okay, this we can take in the range of 1/2 to 1/4 of storage time of roof tank filling. Like for a half day storage, okay, half day means it is 12 hours. If you are taking half day storage or a 12-hour storage, the time taken, okay, to fill it will be, you can take 1/2 to 1/4. So if you are taking 1/4 of the storage time, just multiply 1/4 of the storage time means half day. So dealing with half day means 12 hours, correct? So 12 into 1/4 of the storage will be 3 hours. So normally it will be in the range of 3 hours, okay, 2 to 3 hours to fill the tank. So generally filling time of roof tanks is taken between 2 to 3 hours for small tanks and between 3 to 6 hours for big tanks. Okay. So these are the general criteria for general filling time of roof tank is taken between 2 to 3 hours for small tanks and between 3 to 6 hours for big tanks. Okay. So this also you have to keep in mind, like when we are trying to design it, we can decide whether what should be our storage time or what is our time which is been taken to fill our overhead tank. Okay. Now, when we are coming to the underground, tanks. Okay, when we are coming to the underground tanks, we have to provide the vent pipes. It is a must. Okay, we have to provide vent pipes. Okay, so the tanks larger than 5,000 liters capacity, we have to provide vent pipes. Okay, this what happens. There's a development of pressure in the tank, and which might result in no flow condition or inward collapse of the tank. So it will result in a no flow condition, and sometimes it may collapse the inside inside surface of the tank. So vent pipe is an important or a mandatory thing if the tank capacity is greater than 5,000 liters. Okay. So so all these things you have to keep in mind. This is just a drawing already. So underground water storage. Okay, underground water storage. So this is what I have said. This is because this is recommended by NBC only. So when pipes tanks larger than 5,000 liter capacity shall be provided with the vent pipes to prevent development of pressure inside the tank, which might result in no flow condition or inward collapse of the tank. So no flow condition can occur. There is no movement of water. So just imagine this is an underground reservoir or an underground tank. This is the pump, and this is the pump room or a shed, we can say. And there will be a suction pipe. There will be a delivery pipe, and this is the pump. And this is the it's not main for this manhole. Okay, It's a manhole through which we can inspect these things. There will be an overflow pipe also. So when the level increases, it will overflow through this pipe. This is the ground level. Okay. So yeah. So these are the things that we have to know it. And now we can just uh, so when it comes to one more thing I will show you. Depending upon the international plumbing code, uh, you know what are the different drain, drain pipes. Okay, time drain pipes is been shown here. See, the tank drain pipes. A valved pipe shall be provided at the lowest point of each tank to permit emptying of the tank. So, I have already said that there will be a drain pipe and there will be a discharge pipe. So, discharge pipe will be just above the drain pipe only. And you know what is the purpose of this discharge pipe as well as drain pipe. Drain pipe is nothing but you have to, if you need to empty your tank for some cleaning purpose or something else, you can use a drain pipe. So discharge pipe is nothing but through that pipe only you will be supplying the water to your individual fixtures, to toilet, to the other areas, parking areas or kitchen, etc. So the valve pipe shall be provided at the lowest point of each tank to permit emptying of the tank. The tank drain pipe shall discharge as required for overflow pipes and shall not be smaller in size than specified in table. So it should not be less than what is specified here. Okay, it is depending upon the international plumbing code only. So size of the drain pipes for water tanks. So 1 inch is equal to 25.4 mm or 1 gallon is equal to, it is given in gallons only. 1 gallon is equal to 3.78 liters. Okay, 3.78 liters. So if the tank capacity is up to 750 gallons, not liters, 750 gallons, the drain pipe size should be 1 inch. It is between 750 to 1500. It should be 1.5. Then over 7,500 should be 4 inch. 4 inch means 110 mm. So this is the drain pipes. Okay, this is the drain pipes. This is recommended by IPC. Okay, so now we can do a problem, and this problem is very important in the sense if you have an understanding about this, it will be very easy for you because by this uh, is very all these things are very all the like all of the tank sizing, underground tank sizing, uh, main water supply pipe sizing, okay, uh, and the pump capacity, all these things are included here. Okay, all these things are included here. So uh, let's see, I'll take that question. And you already know that what should be the main pipe, uh, main pipe velocity, right? We have already studied in the initial classes. The main pipe, the velocity in the pipe main should be between 1.5 to 2 meter, 3 meter per second. Okay, so better to do 1.5 meter per second. Piping main means the water that you are pumping from the underground tank or from well to the overhead tank. So by the help of a pump. So the pressure, it is not moving by gravity, it is moving by pressure only, by the help of pump, right? So, yeah. So the velocity in the pumping main should be between 1.5 meter per second to 3 meter per second. So we can do a problem, and so like if you are trying to do the with respect to NBC, if you are a minimum of 70 to 100 liters per head per day should be considered for adequate domestic needs for urban communities, apart from non-domestic needs as flushing and as requirement. Okay, so what it is said is that when you are trying to find out the overhead tank capacity, we need some water demand each day per person. So normally, apart from this flushing purpose, uh, you know, 100 liters per day is been a normal usage. Okay, in the urban places. Okay, 100 liters per day. So uh, we have the NBC chart in which we'll be having the water usage. So with what is our project that we are getting, or what is the application that we are getting, with respect to that, if uh, we have to we have to select how much is the water demand, how much is the water demand. So depending about the NBC, okay, I will show you these are the water demands. This is the chart that I have just made a photo of the NBC of it. So I have the NBC guidelines also with me. So these are the type of building according to that domestic usage per day in liters is being given. Okay, and flushing also it is been given, and total consumption per day is given according to the type of building. Okay, so for example, if you are taking offices, domestic, it is 25 liter per head. Okay, this is 25 liter per head for domestic purpose, for washing and all those things. Uh, so flushing purpose, you need 20 liter per head. So total consumption per day for offices, including canteen, is 45 liter per day. And when it comes to this hostels and all, domestic it is 90, and for flushing it is 45. Okay, so when we are trying to deal with these houses and residents, we'll be taking this hostels, okay, hostels or nursing homes, etc. These all are coming common, coming closer to each other. So we can take this also as 90 as the domestic, and flushing purpose we can take 45 liter per head. So total usage will be 135, total consumption 135 liter per day. That will be the consumption. So here we can do a problem, and we can just assume that it is for domestic we can take around 100 liter per day, or 100 liter per head, or 100 liter per person. Okay, so just we can do a question, and if you want to write that, you can write it. That will be better for you. So I will just share my screen, and we can do a question, and we can finish today. So yeah, this is the question. Okay, you can see this. So this is the question. Explain that. So calculate the following: overhead tank size. This is the overhead tank. This is the building. For example, this is the building. The height is 4 meter. You can take this height as 4 meter, 4-story building. And what we have to do is that we have to find the overhead tank size. We have to know what is the tank size. We have to find the sump size. Sum or the underground size you have to know. Yeah, we have to find out. Then main water supply pipe size. So main water means this pipe. You can see here. This is just a question only, okay? So from here, you can see here. This is the pumping main. Okay, this is the pumping main. This is the pump set. So this is the pumping main, or main line, or main supply line. This is the roof tank. So we have decided that it is a half-day storage tank. So yeah, before that, water sump is 2 to 3 days storage. That you know it, 2 to 3 days storage. So what we have to do is that overhead tank size is there. We have to find out. Some size we have to find out. Main water supply pipe size we have to find out. Not the other pipe size. Okay, the main pump size, and water pump capacity. We have to know the capacity of the pump, and only one thing is given, this the number of occupants is 50. So number of occupants in this apartment or this building is 50, and we have to find out the overhead tank size, underground tank size, main water supply pipe size, and water pump capacity. So if you know all these things, whatever project you may get, it is very easy for you. If you have an idea about how to do this project. Okay. So first one is the given value or the non-value here it is, the total capacity is being given, number of occupants is being given. So this number of occupants is very important because depending upon the number of occupants only, we need the water demand. The demand will be increasing with respect to the number of occupants which is increasing. So here, with respect to NBC, we know that for a nursing home and all, it is for the domestic purpose, we can have 90 liter per day. So here I am just taking 100 liter per day as an assumption, just increasing at 10 liter as a house. Okay, 10 liter per head. Okay, and normally you may ask, what about the flushing? Okay, so what we do is here is that normally when we get a project is that normally we will be having two overhead tanks. Two overhead tanks. One is for the domestic purpose and another one is for the flushing purpose. So we will be having, in some cases, we will be providing these two tanks for separate usage, one for domestic purpose and one for exclusively for flushing purpose. In some case, we don't do that. We will be having a common overhead tank. The water that is coming out from the common overhead tank will be given in the flushing purpose as well as for the washing or drinking purpose. Okay, so we can have both the way also. We can have both the way. So here, what we do is that here we have separate tanks, but now we are trying to find out only the overhead for the domestic purpose. So the number of occupants is also given. So we know the total capacity is 50. The storage capacity required per person per day, we can take as 100 liter per day. Instead of 90, you can take 100 liter per day. So which means that one person is using 100 liters per day. Okay, the usage is 100 liters per day or 100 liters per head, you can say. Understood? So I'm asking a question: if there are 50 people and the water demand is 100 liters per day per person, so what should be the overhead tank capacity? You can just you can just type it. Number of occupants is 50. Water consumption per day per capita or per day per head is 100. Then what would be the total storage capacity if it's a 1 day storage? It's a 1 day storage. Yeah, it is 5,000. Suppose we have just imagined that this is a half day storage. Roof tank is half day storage. Then what would be the tank size that you will be installing in your house if this is your house means 2,500. So you can give 5,000 as well as we can give 2,500. It is your wish, or it is according to the suggestion of the client. We can give anyone. We can give 2,500 or we can give 5,000. Okay, 10,000 unit tank is not needed because that is not a good design. Why? Because every day we have to store, because we don't want that 10,000, right? Each day we want only like 5,000 is enough. But if you have money as well as if you have an area where you can keep this 5,000 or 10,000, it's not an issue. You can keep it like that also. But most of the client won't be ready to give 10,000 liters because of the first one cost. Second one, the area. They might not have any sufficient area. Sometimes what is a problem is that they are building this 10,000 liters tank and all. They are not using this PPR tanks. Okay. They will be using this concrete tanks only. So the amount that you invest in that concrete tank is huge. Okay, instead of this 2,500 liter tank, if you are trying to do 10,000 liter tank, that won't be beneficial for them. Okay, so better to reduce the tank. That's why they have given half day storage. So yes, to pump 2 times a day. Okay, if you are giving half day storage, if you are giving 10,000 liters, and one of the advantages is that for 2 days you don't want to pump set. You don't want to pump. That is the only advantage. But when you are comparing with the cost, it is huge. Okay. So if you are dealing with half day storage, it is fine. And if you are dealing with 1 day storage also, it is okay, no problem. Now, if you want to give 10,000 liters, that is also your visual. That also you can do. Okay. So, but the thing is that we have to calculate the overhead time properly. It should be done. Now you got the overhead time, right? So you got the overhead time as how much? If it is a half day storage, it is 2,500. We can round it and we can give it as 3,000 also. Okay, we can round it and we can write 3,000 meter cube. So if the next my question is, if the overhead tank is how much it is, if it is 3,000 or 2,500 liters, then what would be the underground tank capacity? It's a 3-day storage. You're taking, or if you're taking or if you're taking 1 day storage, for example 5,000 liter, if you have taken 5,000 liter tank as the overhead, so what will be your underground tank capacity if you are taking 3-day storage? Yeah, 15,000. If you are doing half day, it will be 10,000. If you are doing 1 day storage tank capacity, it will be 15 meter cube or 15,000 liters. That is correct. So we have found overhead tank size. We have found some size. Correct. So this is the way that we have calculated. Now total capacity 50%. Storage capacity required per person per day, we have taken 100 liter per day. Then the roof tank size would be 50 into 100 to 500 liter. And if the storage capacity are taking it for half day, we can give us 2,500 liter or 2.5 meter cube, which means 1 meter cube is 1,000 liter. So if you want to round them, if you want to give 3,000 liters, we can just round it and we can give 3,000 3 meter cube or 3,000 liters. So if you are trying to make a tank, of 300 meter cube, sorry, 3 meter cube or 3,000 liter. So how you are trying to find the answer? How will be finding the answer if you need to find the tank size? So if you are trying to build an RCC tank or a concrete tank, you need 300 meter cube, right? So what you have to do is that 2 into 1.5, how much? This 3. And you have to multiply with 1.2 also. 1.2 is the height, okay? Let's take this 2 meter as the length and 2 meter as the, 2 meter length, 1.5 meter width, and take, if you are multiplying, 2 into 1.5 into 1, you will be getting 3. You will be getting the sufficient, you will be getting the sufficient storage. But you can see this, you are multiplying with 1.2, which means 0.2 will be a free board, will be a free space, okay? So when you are trying to design a tank, there should be some free space should be there, okay? Because of the air and all those things, pressure can settle there, so that it should not be always in a full thing for in a full range. We have to give a gap in between it, at least 0.2 to 0.3. Okay, you can give 0.2 as the free board. That is called as free board. It's a vacant space. Okay, and You have to give that. So when you are sizing the tank, you can give 2 into 1.5 into 1.2 meter. Okay, so you can give like that. So now we are dealing with pumping main pipe size. So we got the overhead tank size and we got the underground tank size and we have sized it. Okay, and now coming to the storage capacity of roof tank, it is 3 meter cube, and now pumping main pipe size. So now we are going to deal with filling time. Okay, filling time. So we have already seen that for a small tanks less than 5,000 and or, the filling time can be 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours. So we can take 2 hours. Okay, so we can take here 2 hours because our tank capacity is almost 3,000 meter cube only. So what is our purpose right now is that we are going to find the main pipe size. So that main pipe size is being found out by a formula only. For finding out that formula, we need the rate of filling, Q value, because the formula Q is equal to area into velocity. Okay, and we are initially going to find the Q value or the rate of filling. So one formula Q is equal to area into velocity. That is thorough with it. And one more formula is there. In order to find Q, you have another formula which is called as volume by time, V by T. Okay. In order to find the discharge by another formula, you can find by volume by time. So here the volume of the overhead tank is 3 meter cube. Correct? Overhead tank is 3 meter cube. And the filling time we can take as 2 hours because 2 to 3 hours, this 2 hours we are deciding. Okay. If I want within 1 hour, I can decide my overhead tank should run within 1 hour. So what happens is that the pump capacity will be increasing. That's the main problem. But then it's not an issue. Okay, so I am deciding that my filling time for this 3 meter cube tank would be 2 hours. Okay, so this rate of filling Q, the discharge is the formula volume by time. The volume is 3 meter cube. The volume of the tank of the tank. It is 3 meter cube. So it is volume by time. So 3 divided by time is 2 hours. That 2 hours you have to convert into seconds. So 2 hours is 2 into 60 into 60. So it will be this is 3 meter cube. This will be hours into converted to seconds. 2 into 60 into 60. So it will be 3 divided by 2 into 60 into 60. Will be getting 0.0004166 meter cube per second. This is the Q value or discharge. Or you can write discharge through pipe is equal to 0.5 liter per second because you know that 1 meter cube is equal to 1000 liter. So instead of 0.0041, or you can write instead of 0.005, 515, you can write instead of 41, you can write round it and you can write as 0.0005. Okay, meter cube per second, or you can write as 0.5 liter per second. This is what I'm saying. This is in meter cube per second. This is in meter per second. 0.5 meter per second. Okay, or we can write 0.5 by 1000 meter cube per second. You can write anyway. You can write 0.0005 meter cube per second, or you can write 0.5 liter per second, or you can write 0.5 by 1000 meter cube per second. So that is our discharge. We got Q value. Now, we know the formula Q is equal to A into V, and we already know that the pumping main pipe diameter or the velocity should be 1.5. That you know it, correct? The pipe diameter should be pipe velocity should be 1.5. It is in the range of 1.5 to 3 meter per second. The pumping main velocity should be 1.5 to 3 meter per second. So here we can take 1.5 meter per second. So we have already found out the Q value. And we know the formula Q is equal to area into velocity. Velocity we know 1.5 meter per second. Q we have found now. So from there we can find out the area. So area equal to Q by V. So Q you already know it. It is how much? 0.5 by 1000 meter cube per second. 0.5 by 1000 meter cube per second. If it is in meter cube per second, or we can write 0.0005 meter cube per second. So 0.0005 meter cube per second, or we can write 0.5 by 1000 meter cube per second. Divided by velocity, how much? 1.5. So 0.5 divided by 1000 into 1.5 equal to 0.000333 meter square. So that is the area. That is the area. So that is the area. Now, area, you know, our aim is to find out the diameter. You know, diameter, you can, or the area, we have a formula called as pi by 4 d square because it's a round. So instead of a, you can write pi by 4 d square, and from there, if you want to find out b, you can just write root of 4 into 0.0033 by pi. Okay, so you'll be getting 0.020, and the diameter would be 20.59 mm. So mainly, if you are using the main pipe diameter as 20 mm, it will be sufficient. But normally we won't, use this 20 mm. Okay, we'll be going for a further, high value. You can go for 25 mm, or you can go for even 32 mm also. So instead of this 20, you can just give 25 mm. Okay, or if you can go for even higher as 32 also. So when you are going to buy a pump, a normal, pipe diameter will be already in the suction into discharge. It will be 25 into 25 mm, or it will be 32 into 25, or 25 into 32, or 32 into 32. It will be like that. Suction as well as discharge pipe will be there for the pump. It will be in the size of 25 to 25, or 25 to 32, or 32 to 32, etc. Okay. So here, if you want to adopt 32 mm, it is pretty much good, no problem. Or if you want 25 mm, that is also available in the market. You can get 25. Okay, so that is not an issue. So you got the diameter, you got the uh, main supply pipe size, you got it. So you got so initially you got overhead tank capacity, then you have found out the underground tank capacity. Now you have found out the diameter of the main supply pipe. Okay, by the formula called as Q is equal to area into velocity, where Q we have already found out. V also we know it is 1.5. Area you can find it out by the help of pi by 4 d square. From that you found out D. You have found out the diameter of the pipe. Okay, so the diameter of the pipe, when you're calculating, you got 20.59, or as a practical way, you can choose 25 or 32. Okay, now you know the formula. Pump formula we have already seen. It is mass into acceleration to distance divided by time taken. We have already seen in the first slide. So next we are going to find out the pump capacity only. We are going to find out the pump capacity only. So to find out the pump capacity, we will be getting it HP only, horsepower. So the formula that we have already seen, the formula is mass flow into 9.8 into total head divided by efficiency. Okay, that is our formula. So here we know the mass flow rate. We have just found the mass flow rate. And next, one more thing that we need to know is the total head. The total head we have to calculate. Mass flow rate we already know, it is 0.5 by 1000 meter cube per second, or 0.5 meter cube kilogram per second, whatever we can write. Okay, so the formula will be this one. Pump set head. Okay, head we have to calculate. Okay, the formula you already know, it is mass flow into 9.8 into total head divided by efficiency. That is our formula. So in order to find the total head, we have to add different heads. Okay, that is H1 plus H2 plus H3 plus H4 plus H5 plus 10 plus the safety factor. So what do you mean by this? H1 means pipe friction loss. Okay, pipe friction loss in meter. Then the total length of pumping wheel. Okay, so you can write like can write, if you want to write somewhere the total head, you can write like suction head plus delivery head plus friction loss plus fitting loss plus pump head loss. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there 5 is there. This H1 means you can write it as, you can just leave this. H1 you can write as suction head. H2 you can write as delivery head. H3 you can write as this friction loss. Okay, and H4 you can write as fitting loss, and H5 you can write as pump head loss. Okay, all these are losses, or all these are heads. Okay, so H1 means suction. Okay, suction head. So for example, suction head, how much will be the value suction head? Suction you can take as how much? Suction plus delivery you can take how much suction? Take this as H1 as suction, and take H2 as let me see. So suction is how much? So let's see here. Okay, suction. Don't look this value. This might be wrong. Okay, so we can do by our we can do by our method. So let's see. Just imagine this is just imagine this is 1.2 meter height. Okay, this is 1.2 meter height. This will be 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, 4 plus 16. And this, you just imagine this is a 1 meter height, this much. Okay, so this much height would be there, this much height will be there, and this much height will be there. So the suction means 1.2 meter. Just imagine this is a underground tank, and the capacity and the size is how much? 1.2. Okay, 1.2 size of the tank. We have already found 2 into 1.5 into 1.2 meter. Okay, that is the pipe's size of the tank. 2 into 1.5 into 1.2 is the overhead tank. 1.2 is the overhead tank height. Correct. The same way you can just imagine this is also the height. You can just imagine this is a 1 meter height. Or how much it is, how much height you can take that much height. If it's a well, means it is 10 meter height. So you can take as well also. So here it is not well. We are pumping from the underground tank only. So here what you have to do is that take this height as 1. Okay, 1 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, 16. No, take this as 1.2, including that freeboard also will be there. So just take that freeboard also. 1.2 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, 16. 1.2 plus 16. Then this height is 1.2. So take as 1 meter height. Okay, take 1 meter height. So imagine that 1 meter is coming here. Okay, going to is a freeboard. You just imagine like that. So what will be the suction plus delivery head? Suction plus delivery head, it will be 1 plus 16 plus 1.2. Okay, so it would be 1.2 plus 16 means 17.2 plus 1, 18.2. Okay, so 18.2 is the HS plus HD, suction plus delivery, which means that H1 plus H2 will be 16 plus 1.2 plus 1. No, it is not this. Okay, just leave this. Then again you have H3, H4 and H5. H3 you can take as frictional loss. H3 you can take as frictional loss. Frictional loss you can find from the Keisen-Williamson equation. Keisen-Williamson equation. So friction loss we have already found out by yesterday's head calculation. Friction loss. So this is the liter per day. This is the pipe size. From there we can easily find out the friction loss as well as the velocity. Correct. So we know our Q is what is our Q value is 0.5 liter per second. Correct. So we can take 0.5 liter per second, and pipe diameter is 32. We have chosen 32. So 32 with respect to 0.5 liter per second. How much is it? After 0.46, it is 0.52. Okay, so you can take 0.52, and for 32 mm, HF is uh, almost coming as 33.47, and uh, 33.47, and velocity is 0.65. We want only this HF, right? We want only this HF, 33.47. So 33.47. So 33.47. So we got 33.47. Okay. So in order to find HF, this 33.47 is for 1000 meter only. Head loss in meter per 1000 meter. So what we have to do? HF, what is our length? Our length is how much? 0.61. You will make it 0.61. Have you multiplied 33.47 divided by 1000 into 18.2? Let's see. Let me also check. You got 33.47 divided by 1000, right? Divided by 1000 into how much? 18.2. You got 0.661. Okay, 0.61 is correct. 0.61, correct. 0.61 is correct. So you got H3 also you got, correct? H1 and H2 you already got. Now you got H3 also. Which means what is H3? H1, H2 you already got. Okay, it is 18.2. Then now you got H3. H3 means friction loss that you got right now. Now H4 means fitting loss only. Fittings will be there inside that, right? So it is been assumed that for each fitting, 0.5 meter will be reduced. Okay, 0.5 meter will be taken for each fitting. So here we can imagine that there are 4 fittings. Okay. So if it is 4 fittings, 4 into 0.5 will be 2 meter. 2 meter will be H4, which means fitting loss. Okay, fitting loss. And we have H5 as pump head loss. Pump head loss you can you can take as 2 meter. It's a assumption. Okay, pump head loss 2 meter. So okay, you can take H5 as 2 meter. It's a pump head loss. H4 as fitting loss, which means that how many fittings are there in your pipe, right? You multiply with 0.5, because for one fitting it is assumed that 0.5 meter is the loss. Okay, so 0.5 into 4 equal to 2. So you got H1 plus H2 as 18.2. H3 you got how much? H3, what was your answer? H3 0.61. 0.61 plus H4 you got 2, because 0.5 into 2. Sorry, 0.5 into 4, it is 2. Then H5 equal to how much? H5 is equal to 2 meter. Okay. So when you add all those things, how much you got? 22.81. Yeah, 22.81, or we can write 22.9. Okay, that is correct. So total head will be 22.81. Okay, so total head will be 22.81. And I think you have to give 10% safety also. Safety factor also is there. 10% safety factor. So you just add 22.81 plus 0.1. So it will be 22.9 something. Correct? You have to add 10% safety factor also. You have to add 10% safety factor. So what would be the answer? 22.81 plus 0.1, right? 22.9. 22.9 is the total head. So you got total head. Then if you get total head, can you find out the answer? Can you find out the pump size, pump head? You can use this formula. Don't use this, okay? You can take efficiency as 0.65 also. This is the formula, 0.5 into 9.81 into, this is not 27, this is 22.9 divided by 0.65. 25. No, it is not multiplication. Okay, it is additional. Okay, it's additional. Don't multiply it. We are adding 10%, right? So it is like plus 10% safety factor. Plus 10%. So the formula is power is equal to mass flow into 9.8 into total head. Total head, how much you got right now? 22.9. Divided by efficiency. Efficiency you can write as 0.65. 10% of which head? 10% pump head. Pump head. Pump head loss only. Pump head loss only. The pump head loss. The safety factor means when you are adding this plus as a safety factor, we are just adding 10%. That's all. Okay, of this complete line. That's what it meant as 10% safety factor. We are just adding a 10% for a safety. So we will be getting what is the answer? 22.9, right? Because 10% means 0.1 only. 10% means 10 by 100 is 0.1. So add that 0.1 plus 22.81. We'll be getting 22.91. No, just multiply with 10 divided by 100. Just add a safety factor of just 0.1. Or you are having 0.1 into h means how much it will be? What will be your value? What will be the value if you are multiplying with 0.1 into, sorry, not 0.1. Yeah, 0.1 into h, how much should be the value? Total h is 22.81, where you have to add 10%, right? So safety percentage, 10% of 22.1, how much it will be? 22.81 into 10 by 100. How much it will be? Yeah, will be the total will be 25.09, correct? Yeah, with respect to that 25.09, the answer will be 25. Will be getting 25.09. Okay, total head. Okay, 10% safety factor means 10% of, we can calculate as 10% of this total head. Total head is 22.81 and 10% of that. We'll be getting 2 point something, 2.21 or something like that. So add with this and find the pump capacity, find the pump capacity. So you have to add all these things, H1, H2, H3, and you got as 22.81. Then you have to add 10% safety factor with this H, this total H. So you'll be getting, when you add all these things, you'll be getting, I think, approximately 25.09 it seems. So now you find the capacity of the pump. The capacity of the pump we can find by the formula. This one, mass into 9.81 into that. What is the total head into 100 by 65, or we can write divided by 0.65 also we can write. You will be getting the answer in watts. Let me know what is the answer that you are getting in watts. What will be the answer? Kindly find the answer and let me know. $189. 189 watts. Yeah, I think that is correct. When you convert that into HP, you know how to convert it into HP? 1 HP is equal to 0.746 kilowatts. Okay, kilowatts. 1 HP is equal to 0.746 kilowatts. So you can convert your watts into kilowatts, or then you can divide by 0.746, or anyway, vice versa also you can, or you can convert this, your kilowatts into watts also you can convert, and you can find the answer. 1 HP is equal to 0.746 kilowatt or 746 watts. You will be getting 0.25 HP. Okay. So 0.25 HP. So 0.25 HP is the pump head. Okay, so maybe in the market we will be having 0.5 only. So you have to go for 0.5 HP. So the value that you got is 0.25 HP. Someone like 0.42 or something like that, right? Or 0.25 also correct. So approximately you can take 0.5 HP. Okay? You can take 0.5 HP. So today we have found out the overhead tank capacity according to the water demand by individual people, according to the application or category. And we can take from MDC chart how much 100 liter per day or 90 liter per day or 20 liter per day, like that. Then we have found underground tank capacity. We have taken 2 to 3 days storage of the overhead tank. Then we have found out the main pipe size, pumping main size, which means that the water that you are pumping from the underground tank to the overhead tank, that you can use by the help of a formula. Q is equal to A into V, as well as Q is equal to volume by time. That formula also should be involved in it. From there, you can find out the diameter of the pipe. So diameter also we have found. Then at last we have to find the pump capacity. So pump capacity, we have the formula mass flow rate into 9.8 meter square by second into the total head divided by the efficiency. Okay. So total head means the addition of all the head. Addition of all the head means suction head plus delivery head plus friction loss plus pump loss, plus you can add a safety factor also to it. That is the total head. Then you equate in this formula mass into gravity into head divided by efficiency. You will be getting its answer in watts only. You can convert into kilowatt, and 1 HP is equal to 0.746 kilowatt. Then you can convert that kilowatt into HP. So you got approximately 0.25 HP, and you can take approximately as 0.5 HP. Okay. So when you are going to buy a pump, you can for this house, you can ask them like I want a 0.5 HP pump of 0.5 liter per second at what is the head that you got? 25 meter head. So I want a 0.5 liter per second at 25 meter head, 0.5 HP pump. So if you are just going and saying I want a 0.5 HP pump, they will ask what is the flow rate and head that you need. Okay. So as an engineer, that like a design engineer, you have to calculate it, and you have to know what is the discharge. grab the head. Okay. So I think is there any doubt for today's topic? If not, means we can wind up. So I think we have covered all those things: underground, overhead, main pipe size, and pump capacity. Also, we have found it. Is there anything else you need to know in today's topic? So if you have no doubt, means we can wind up. If you have any doubt, we can just give a chat or you can call. Okay, Karandeep. So you can see tomorrow. So if you have any doubt in this particular thing, you can just go to the video link and I will send you the video link today itself. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Bye.